Ladies and gentlemen, this is Breaker, and we are back with a replay between, I want to say essentially, my favorite player here in the upper left, excuse me, the upper right-hand corner. Excuse me, MasSan. I'm not actually sure who this guy is. I'm sorry, I actually meant to, I introduced him incorrectly. But this is rather interesting. We have some rather epic music in the background for this map. Lower left-hand corner, my favorite, I would say one of my favorite pro tosses of all time. I give you all the IG Gym. This is actually the in-game tag that he showed up as in the Acer Team Story Cup, I believe. But no, this is, yeah, this is the actually in-game tag that he used in the Acer Team Story Cup. I can't say if he's playing on the Korean server. It wouldn't surprise me considering he's able to use Chinese fonts. I'm not entirely sure what this says. I think it says meow meow meow. Meow, meow, meow. Let me try that. Meow, meow, meow. Oh, yeah, what do you know? That is. Yeah. Aww. It's like a cat. Anywho. The music does... it really does throw me off because I wasn't considering this... Is this my actual in-game music? It is my actual in-game music. I'm sorry, guys. Wow. Anywho, do not get these guys mixed up. This is actually... the Chinese Protoss Gem, the same guy who all killed EG, and now he's going up against a member of Quantic by the name of MasSan. Of course, our Quantic player not, of course, wanting to play too risky, and this seems to be a very typical follow-up that we see. Excuse me, not a typical follow-up, but a typical opener from Jim. He seems to do a 16 double gas every single time that he's on the ladder. Of course, it's good for various reasons, be it the fast force fields to get out, or, if you will, I guess a Stargate opener, or perhaps a Twilight Council opener, or even fast DTs into an Expo. It seemed to be viable during the beta. I remember build time was actually really strong in the beginning, if you will. It was, But what made this actually absolutely overpowered was the fact that it only costed, you know, when they had actually implemented that feature into the beta, it was like 100 minerals, 100 gas, and I was just like, you have got to be kidding me, Blizzard. Did you really just do that? And after they gave it a slight nerf to 150 and 150, I thought, okay, well, now it's kind of viable. Anywho, we do have Mr. MasSan's Overlord just now arriving. And Jim is about to throw down his Expo. There it is. Looks like they encountered some kind of a sound bug, according to MasSan. But ultimately, I do want to highlight with this that Jim is a top 10 GM on the Korean server. That is the main goal of me casting the series of replays that his coach had given me. And basically, I believe most of them were publicized anyway, but I'm not going to give any of these replays away to anyone else for various reasons. First and foremost, I am one of the few native English speakers that has regular contact with Chinese pros. And with that being said, I have a reputation to keep up. I told Calm that if he gave me just some typical replays of him on the ladder, I would not give them to anyone else. And if I do give them to anyone else, I become a liar. So, you know, I don't want to give away any player's secrets, any player's special points, any player's this or that, you know. So that just being said, there's a confidentiality agreement between me and, you know, it's a verbal confidentiality agreement between me and anyone else who wants to give me replays that no one else has access to. Just that kind of thing. Alright, so looks like we're gonna have Quantic MasSan kind of going with a sort of classic Wings of Liberty opener that is classic since Wings of Liberty. And I'm curious, did that Mothership Core see the Roach Warren? I think it did, but I mean, that, as far as, you know, as far as Jim is concerned, that could actually just be you know, a Spire. Yeah. And now we actually have a Forge follow-up from Jim. So this... Wait. Am I reading this right? Okay, are we going to see a double Stargate follow-up from Jim too, or is this just a single Forge that we see at the Natural come to create a kind of a SimCity, a very effective SimCity at that? +1 attacks, ground weapons already going down, and we have a few links moving out for map control from MasSan. A lot of sentries here already, so I'm thinking maybe, just maybe, we're gonna see something, maybe a strong push out from Jim, honestly. It looks like there was something that just happened here that I just missed. I don't want to hit the back button, but I'm thinking perhaps it was, yes, it was a hallucinated Phoenix. Okay, there we go. And it looks like we have... Wow, okay, that's kind of strong reaction, strong reflex. The Hydralisk then follow-up is to be expected. And I'm thinking what we're going to see from the late game composition for MasSan is essentially going to be Viper, Roach, Hydra. We already see that +1 missile attacks and +1 Carapace are already finished. Excuse me, on the way. But they won't be finished before +1 ground weapons for Protoss. So I'm a little curious. Are we going to see... Oh, no. I was thinking perhaps we were going to see some early game pressure, but yeah, no. Not at all. We were actually just going to see, I think, some defensive turtling. Rather wise choice. And for now, we actually have a Twilight Council in production. There we go. Yes, there it is. Now, my curiosity is just a little bit perked. What on earth are we going to see from Jim here? Are we going to see him go into Zealots, or are we going to see him go into Stalkers? You know, that kind of thing. Another hallucinated Phoenix coming from Jim. He really likes to keep an eye on his opponent. You know, I mean, it's a little absurd, really. Okay, so now I'm sure that perhaps... No, wait a minute. I'm sorry, I thought this infestation pit, excuse me, was moving much in the same fashion that you would see it moving if it was researching something. But it looks like I was wrong. And, you know, we essentially have both sides of the map turtling up.
Our forces are under attack.
Did I just read that right? Okay, never mind. Blink is about almost halfway done for, Jim, +2. Now starting up for MasSan here. I'm going to go ahead and do some research on this, and, you know, if MasSan is actually not MasSan, then I'll go ahead and put it in the video description below, guys. I want to go ahead and apologize for that. Roaches continuing to be cranked out. Excuse me, not roaches, but rather Hydras. Light roaches, if you will, are being cranked out now for MasSan. I do also need you guys to pay very close attention to how many resources are being floated and what the current what the current supply counts are for each side. It's actually relatively low, I think, for MasSan. He should actually be, you know, the worker count is right where it needs to be, but the production is what really needs improvement. We do have a couple of evolution chambers going down here, and that's essentially for the Vipers, is what it's going to be there for, of course. They are the cheapest structures. They have a kind of standard amount of HP for them, about 100 minerals or something of that nature. And we do presently have... This is interesting. What is going on here? Oh, okay. We do presently have Vipers on the way being added into the mix. I'm sorry, just as I clicked on these evolution chambers, I was wondering to myself, why on earth is +3 not being researched yet? But oh my god, it looks like we have Jim hitting just the right timing to move out. He does aggressively blink onto some of the Hydras that we have here, but he's just going to kind of hold back here because he's got an observer that allows him to see just what MasSan is up to now. I wonder, is it MasSan or MasSan? I'll be taking Korean next semester. Anywho. With that pylon being attacked, we do have Jim canceling it. His supply count is now 152 out of 156. Aggressive blink forward. But it looks like these Colossi, oh my god, 2 of them survived being yanked into that huge Hydra ball, if you will. And we actually have kind of, I think, the supply slightly favoring MasSan just a little bit. But we need to see another good pull from the Colossi, and we need to see them being targeted down by the Roaches. That's basically the only way we can see, essentially, MasSan come out and win this. And right now we actually see him going into emergency consume mode. By emergency consume, I mean that... wait, does he have just 1 Viper? He does. He only has 1 Viper. With full health, it will have enough for 2.5 abducts, if you will. I'm kidding. Just 2 abducts right now is all he can hope for, and he has to make them very good abducts. He's got enough alternatively for 2 Blinding Clouds, but I'm not sure if the Blinding Cloud would affect the Colossi or not, considering they are recognized as both ground and air units. Huge Roach Ball right here getting ready to move out, and it looks like they're going to deal with these pylons just fine, and the Colossi get yanked right into them. At least the first one does. Mothership Core is about to fall. This is the only Viper in his army, so if he screws this up, he's actually done for. Blinding Cloud is actually, I don't know, it didn't hit where it was supposed to. It didn't make the connection it needed to, and now we actually see MasSan. You know, he's in a favorable position right now, but with all the blinks that we see coming now for Jim going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I want to say that for the time being, we see MasSan in an advantageous position, a beautiful position at that. But his opponent has +3 attacks. His upgrades are just now getting up behind this. He doesn't have a full HP Viper. He only has a single Viper. And essentially what we see now from MasSan is him doing some risky accounting skills. Will the Colossus fall here? I don't know. It does get yanked, so there we go. It does get dealt with by the Roaches. And the Hydra's on the ground. We have another Colossus in production as well, but now there's an Immortal out on the map. And the question is, will it be enough to deal with these Roaches? I don't know, but it looks like it perhaps already has a kill. It does. With +3 attacks, it does 65 damage versus Roaches, and that is about half the HP of a single Roach. No, actually. You know, that's a considerable amount, about 40%. 3 hits will take down a single Roach. So we have to see MasSan here being, you know, quintessentially absolutely careful. I think he, you know, from him right now, I think it would be more than acceptable to get Blinding Cloud out there, get some more Vipers in the mix, but for now he only has 1. I think this is extremely thin ice that we see him walking on right now. And it would also be a good idea for him to take 5th base behind this. I'm not entirely sure whether or not Jim actually knows about MasSan's 5th base in the lower right-hand corner. But here we go. It looks like both armies are about to collide. And that looked like a total misclick from MasSan on the abducts. And his only Viper does fall right now. No, I don't know what that was all about just yet. I mean, it's so confusing. But now we have an immediate remax on Roaches coming down for MasSan, and I'm thinking, you know, with 2 Immortals in the mix, that's going to make a hell of a difference, really. Jim slowly but surely taking this game into his hands, coming out on top with this, but it's almost as though we see MasSan forgetting that he has the ability to make Vipers. Hydras and Roaches can only do so much, but he needed a lot more Vipers in the beginning of this game. The Hydras are about to pop, but they're so far behind, and we see that the AoE right now is just coming non-stop onto his main army. Roaches, Hydras, and everything else in between. There we go. Army supply 92 to 87. Oh boy, I think this could possibly be one of the final engagements, but it just depends on how things go from here. Boy, reinforcements are getting just absolutely run over as they come. There we go, and Jim looks like he's getting ready to push into here. All the drones have been pulled, but it's not going to be enough to really deal with this. There it is, the GG, well played from qntc MasSan. I will do some research. I'm going to Google this guy's name and figure out just who he is. This has been Breaker. I will see you guys in a few minutes with more replays from Jim.